And Jackie's smart because she's in the shade, taking a few degrees off the temperature. What's amazing, I find, is this temperature will go on like this for quite a few days. There's very little change.
And we talked about this last week, about this being a very long stretch of heat. And we haven't seen a stretch very often throughout this summer because we had a lot of rain and cooler temperatures. So it's almost like we need that reminder on, you know, heat exhaustion, careful with fires, all that kind of stuff. Because yes, this is a long stretch, and drink lots of water. And make sure you're a little careful out there, because yes, there are no official heat warnings in place. That is really only because we're about a degree off in the city for the overnight lows. Our daytime highs are heat warning criteria, absolutely, especially coming up here. Not at the moment. 27 degrees is the current temperature and our daytime high. Your 24-hour forecast is brought to you by 5th Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit 5thAvVW.com. And there we go, 29 degrees for tomorrow. So even hotter tomorrow with a whole lot of sunshine. Your full forecast coming up, Ian.
Well, the power will be in use over the next few days in terms of air conditioning, if people happen to have it in their home.
Yes, or even the portable ones.
Right.
The fans.
Crank them up.
Crank them up. And, you know, a lot of people have been waiting for this type of heat and you know, this long stretch of sunshine. But as we already talked about, there's a responsibility to be a little careful in it as well. You know, drink lots of water. And if the heat really does affect you, then stay in the shade or indoors during those core hot hours of the day. You'll get some relief in the evening hours in most cases, in most of southern Alberta anyway. Okay, 28 degrees now in Calgary, so we just popped up a degree in this last few minutes. Just above that 30 mark, Drumheller and through Brooks and Medicine Hat and Lethbridge, and at 30 in Milk River. Close enough to it in Pincher Creek. Winds are calm, sun is out, and at this moment there's no heat warning in place, but there is a special weather statement, and this goes for Clare's Home, Champion, Lomond, Brooks, up through Hannah, over to Empress. Calgary, yes, is included in this as well, and then up. So the reason why we're not looking at a lot of heat warnings is because in most cases, the overnight lows will be low enough that we don't quite meet the warning criteria. But we're close enough. Let me just put this in perspective here. So you need, if you look at most of Alberta, so basically anywhere north of Pincher Creek, Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat, so most of Alberta, you need 2 consecutive days with a daytime high at least 29 and an overnight low of at least 14 degrees. We will actually be in this criteria in the city of Calgary for Wednesday and Thursday, so there may actually be a heat warning issued for us for then. We'll keep our eye on that for you. But in the far south, you need 2 consecutive days of a high of 32 and a low of at least 16. Now in the far south, we are looking at overnight lows at sometimes this week, even in those single digits. So there is some relief at night, which is a good thing. Open up the window, let the cooler air in. Less of a relief in these areas, which is why the statement is in place. And if we go up about a degree or 2 in most communities, then the heat warning is going to be issued as well. I think the key thing to look at is that we don't have the heat warning in place at this moment, but it's still going to be very hot over these next couple of days as this ridge continues to build in and intensifies. So most communities, Wednesday, Thursday, will be into the 30s. All right, radar and satellite showing you pretty much nothing going on. Now we do have the potential of a little blip here, a little bit of cloud cover and even an isolated shower, and some models even suggesting a quick non-severe thunderstorm around that midnight hour just up the QE2. So basically between Olds and Calgary. We could even see that in Calgary, small chance of that. Again, that's at the midnight hour, and outside of that, we have nothing else going on other than Wednesday in the afternoon. You may notice some clouds moving in, but it should still be mainly sunny. So quiet, stable weather as we go through these next 5 days, really the rest of this week, and temperatures will be able to build. So 29 degrees for Tuesday, and then you can see we meet that criteria for Wednesday and Thursday with highs expected to be around 30 degrees and an overnight low of 14. So hot days, very warm nights, and then we start to slowly cool down by the time we get into the weekend, into those high 20s.
So summer is winding down, but the heat is winding up in a way, right?
Yep, and as my mom always said, go jump in a lake. Right. Which meant very different things when she said it. But I will say to you, go jump in a lake.
Sure.
Yeah. That'll help. 28 degrees, current temperature. So the heat up has really begun. It's warmer than, at least a few degrees warmer than the weekend. Normal is 21. Today's high is 28. By Wednesday and Thursday, we will crack 30, and our overnight lows will be in those teens. So that is heat warning criteria by Wednesday and Thursday. So there may be some warnings issued for the city of Calgary. It is going to be a hot one, and as you can see, we start to decrease a bit by the weekend, but it will still be hot right through the middle of next week. Back to you.
Jackie, thank you. Let's bring Danielle in now. This heat is lovely, but really it's serious. It's nothing to mess about with.
You're totally right, Tara, and I think the key thing to look at with all of this is, like, we finally have some summer weather. Enjoy that. Enjoy the summer weather, but with any extreme weather that we have, we always have to be smart in it. So kids and pets cannot be left in the car for even a moment's time, because over these coming days, this is excessive heat that we're dealing with here. 28 degrees is the current temperature at the airport. We're going to get hotter than this in the next few days, and we're going to reach that heat warning criteria in the city and many other communities in southern Alberta. Okay, looking at those next 24 hours, overnight tonight, 11 degrees, kicking off the morning at 8 a.m., 14 degrees, and a high of at least 29 with a whole lot of sunshine and very calm winds. Your longer range forecast is just ahead, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Let's bring Danielle back in now. Major concern again with this long stretch of intense heat.
Yeah, we're back to that risk again. So while it's important to enjoy the sunshine as much as possible, as we already talked about, all the safety that goes with it, make sure you are drinking lots of water, suntan lotion, make sure you are careful if you're camping and you're having a fire. All of this, let's be aware of the fire bans. There's a lot of things that go with this, a lot of responsibility that go with it, but of course, we haven't had a stretch like this really much this summer, so it's something that we almost have to get used to, just like winter driving, your first snowfall. This is one of those things. So 27 degrees is the temperature right now in Calgary. That's not excessive heat at this point, but we're looking at tacking on more to these temperatures for the coming days. And check out the stretch from Drumheller and through Brooks, Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, just above 30 at this point, and it will get to about 33 in those communities for tomorrow. So we're looking at building the heat. At this point, there's a special weather statement in place for many communities. This includes Claresholm, Champion, Lowman, Brooks, over to Hannah, Empress. Calgary is included in this. So we don't have any sort of heat warnings issued for southern Alberta just yet, but that may come in the next day or so. We need a certain criteria for a heat warning to be issued. So for anywhere north of Pincher Creek, Lethbridge, and Medicine Hat, so most of Alberta, you need 2 consecutive days of a daytime high of at least 29 and an overnight low of at least 14. We're going to be at this criteria in the city of Calgary for Wednesday and Thursday, which is why we'll likely see a heat warning issued. For the far south, you need a high of at least 32 for 2 consecutive days and a low of at least 16. And we're looking at overnight lows around those single digits. So we'll at least get some relief in the overnight hours for the far south. Okay, here's that ridge of high pressure that will continue to build in, which is why the heat will continue to build in as well. And we're not looking at any systems rolling in, no rainfall for the rest of this week and even much of next week as well, because this is such a strong ridge. We do have one little isolated pocket, a little bit of development in the foothills. It won't really amount to much because things are so stable, but along the QE2, as you can see here by the midnight hour, small chance of getting an isolated shower, maybe even a non-severe thunderstorm, and it could clip the edge of Calgary overnight tonight as well. Other than that, really maybe some cloud cover Wednesday afternoon, and then it's just quiet and hot. So 29 degrees is our high for tomorrow, into the 30s for Wednesday and Thursday, overnight lows in the teens, so hard to get the relief at night as well. Tara.
I was there and it was awesome.
Yes, I'm sure the bins were overflowing.
Yep. Yep.
That is wonderful.
I can imagine they would be fast at helping with those things.
Yeah,
that team.
Absolutely. A few things thrown, I'm sure, inside the food bank.
A couple potatoes.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to watch hot air balloons overhead, but they don't usually get this close. Oh, it is right. Residents in Bedford, UK watched a hot air balloon land in the middle of the street. Several bystanders helped steady the balloon and then guide it away from the cars and the power lines and the houses as it landed. The British Balloon and Airship Club reports the balloon landed without incident.
The poor dog at the front wasn't sure what was going on there, right?
Running the balloon, coming back, running, coming back. It's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this.
Wow.
Well, you might need to give your eyes a rub to make sure you're seeing things straight with this one as well.
Huh?
You have to try to figure out how many ballerinas are actually in there. It seems like 2 are dancing, but it looks like 4 people. But is it just one couple in a mirror? You're going to have to just study that one for a little while and see if you can figure out what's going on there. Very clever, though.
We may never figure that one out.
Right?
Well, little dogs usually beg for cuddles, but this one seems like it might be cuddled out.
Oh my goodness, look at I want this dog. Oh.
Mom wants the cuddles. It's hard to tell whether she's loving it or hating it. It could be her happy noises.
It could be, yes, but that look on its face, I'm not sure.
I can't stop laughing. I want that dog so bad. Oh, that's hilarious.
I think if it was truly unhappy, it would have run away.
Yes,
I'm going to go with that.
Right.
All right, Skywatch weather camera, blue sky, lots of sunshine. We have the summer heat building in that we haven't had much this summer. We've had a lot of rain. We've had some cooler temperatures, but this is not just 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. This is right through the rest of this week and even much of next week, where we should be above 25 degrees for our daytime high. I'll show you that in just a moment with regards to that 10-day trend, but for now, 28 degrees was the high so far in Calgary, around our current temperature as well, 29 in Edmonton. Out east, much cooler. 20 degrees was the high in Toronto today, 21 for Fredericton. Check out these temperatures. Drumheller, Brooks, Medicine Hat, just above 30. And you can tack on another couple degrees for most communities to see what your daytime high is going to be like for tomorrow. So at this point, special weather statement in place for Claresholm, Champion, Lomond, Brooks. We may see this upgraded to a heat warning for many communities. Calgary may be included in that as well. Basically, we're only a couple degrees off of the heat warning, if that. So overall, it's hot and will continue to be hot, and you do have to be careful in this heat. There is a little bit of thunderstorm activity developing way off in the foothills closer to Jasper, but this is really fizzling out because it's pretty stable out there. We may see a little shower at the midnight hour in Calgary from this, but smaller chance of that. All right, 26 degrees in the evening, 11 for tonight, and then in the morning at 8 a.m., 14 degrees, 29 as your daytime high. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
The goal was to raise $50,000 in support of Youth Centers Calgary and Umoja Community Mosaic. I'm told they think they can raise more this year.
Oh, that is awesome.
Good tournament.
Be really cool.
Thank you, Glenn. Let's get our final peek at the forecast, Danielle.
Yeah, it's going to be sweaty for at least a week and a half. And the hottest of it all will be Wednesday and Thursday likely. This is your Action Furnace 5-day forecast, 29 for tomorrow, 30 for Wednesday and Thursday. Even those overnight lows are quite toasty, so no real relief even in those overnight hours in the city. Your 10-day trend showing you this heat lasting quite a long time, right through the weekend and through much of next week. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors. Crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. That was showing people at a lake, Lake Chaparral, but now it's just grass. I apologize for that. I'll load it up better tomorrow.
Grass looks good, though. Between all the rain and then all the heat, that's a beautiful lawn. We'll go with it. That's exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.